Uh, as I said before, the course is Management of Mechanical Design and Research. And the first step is, what is the design? Introduction of the design. Because as I said, it is about management, about the research and mechanical design. What is the design and what are the specifications of the design? So design comes from the different ideas and different people. I try to find it the best, some of the best of the ideas comes from design. A core activity, one of them is this. The first thing is the design is not just one disciplinary, you can say mechanical design. These days is combination, multidisciplinary. Multidisciplinary of the engineering. It means mechanical, electrical, communication, engineering, or electronics, or mechatronics. So a core activity for professional engineers integrating engineering science with other disciplines. This is very, very important to know about the design. Some of the others idea or text from the design is an iterative process. It's very important, iterative process, because once you say I design, it's not finished. It is correct you design one time, but iterative, it means you have to back and you correct it, modify and improve. And like almost any engineering solution represent a subject to a limited implementation schedule and available budget. So you can see it's different ideas they use for the design. But the biggest issue, as I found it, is about the customer. We are here, or we are going to work in industry or any company for customer. We have to respond to the customer needs that are difficult to define. As I said, in last case, as I was customer, I asked them automation of the lift. That's it. It's correct, I am a professional in mechanical engineering, but I tell, I need air automation. That's it. So the customer doesn't know about what they want. This is difficult. It cannot give you very specifically what they want. What does the customer want? It's very important. Do they even know? And the answer or question is the voice of the customer. You have to close to the voice of the customer, not customer. It's different. So I bring some of the ideas, the best of the ideas from the designers, and you understand better my subject. One of them is Henry Ford. Henry Ford, if you know about him, is the biggest company in the automotive at the moment, and we call it Ford company. Most of the Americans, they like to buy a Ford, and also in other countries such as Australia, they buy a Ford automotive. Is that the same as now? No. His father, actually, they have a garage, and they have just maybe 5 or 6, and they just use it for the move some of the boxes, and they use it horse for movement. This is his father business. And he said, if I ask people what they want, I'm talking about 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago, they would have said faster homes. I'm telling you, customer, we have to understand what the customer asks you, want you, but it's not the same level of the customer. You have to go upper than the customer. So he said 100 years ago, or more than 100 years ago, because he's talking about 1906 or sometimes around, and he said, customer asked me faster horse, not automotive. If you remember, he just made it a new automotive and we use it. And we call it T Ford, T. And the T is the first automotive comes to the market and around the world. Another very good designer around the world, I bring the idea for you, is about Steve Jobs. You know Steve Jobs? Steve Jobs, every time I'm so proud of him, every time. Around 15 years ago, or more than 15 years ago, we have a mobile, and the mobile was around 2 kilograms. And how many key was there? 10 key for 1, 2, 3, 4 until to 10, and lot of key for ABCD. 1 key for turn on, 1 key for turn off, 1 key for speakers, a lot. Once you see, I have that mobile. It's similar as this. I cannot put it in my pocket. I have to carry it with the bag. But, and made it by Nokia. Steve Jobs is the founder and CEO of the Apple Macintosh. He he went to the company, to his company, Apple, and he said, I need a new phone, doesn't have any key or any button. I said, what? And all the engineers, they said, is it possible to do that? And after a while, you can see this is the phone, iPhone. He created from his idea. It doesn't have any lot of buttons. That's it. Just turn on and turn on. If you back to 20 years ago, the first mobile doesn't have the camera. Doesn't have cannot take a photo or something. He tell to his workers or engineers, ask them, create a new phone, call it iPhone, and you see, as a virtually, you put it some of the key there, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or numbers, or answer, phones, or anything. At the moment, you can see we have around more than 20,000 applications. We call it app. We can use it for phone. In my phone, as I said, I have around 48,000 pictures. So how can I create it? Who tell him? Customer? No. Customer, at that time, they use it the mobile. It's the Nokia. They don't know about the iPhone and the virtual tab or keys. Who created this? Steve Jobs. I bring this idea for you. You cannot just ask customer what they want. I'm telling you, customer asks you something from here, but you are a designer. You cannot design here. You have to design more than customer asks you. You see, he said he cannot just ask customer what they want and then try to give that to them. Similar as iPhone. By the time you get it built, they will want something new. It happens. What is the first iPhone came to the market? Do you remember? This phone is iPhone 12, I think, yeah. At the moment it's iPhone 15, yeah? What's the first phone? iPhone?
I think it's 3.
4. 3, exactly.
One.
No. Maybe 3 is correct. 3 or maybe 4. You said 3. iPhone 3 come, and in iPhone 3, in iPhone 3, we don't have any key. Doesn't have a camera or internet or anything, okay? It's correct. But he created, and company, Apple created, Apple created iPhone, and they come to the market. Who buy it? Million people. Some of, such as me, for example, me. I bought it. I was very surprised. I use it very good because it doesn't have a lot of key, and the weight is good. It's very useful for me. After a while, what happened as a customer? What happened to me? Tell me.
Something better.
Very good. Very good. So I'm telling you, design and production, iterative, and then you have to cost. So if you look at this phone I have 12, it's not finished. You have 13, 14, at the moment we have 15. Definitely, end of this year we have 16. And we have a lot of improvement. So he said, you have to get it built. They will want something new. As I said, I bought the iPhone 4 myself, and 6 months later I asked why it doesn't work internet, why this, I need that or something. It is customer. Customer every time doesn't know about this, but after a while ask you more than expect. So he said, it's really hard to design product by focus of the group. A lot of times people don't know what they want until you show it to them, Steve Jobs. So maybe you ask me, Hamid, hardware is the design? No, sometimes it is similar as this. This is the design, comes from Mars. So, therefore, to design, identify customer what they want or needs. Identify about the function they needs. Identify the development form they needs. For example, as you can see, a juicer. You can see it looks good, delight to use, and also functional, or maybe this car is fun, something like that. Or maybe you can see the previous, I used this many years ago myself as a joystick. In Commodore I use it, but you can see new version is this. So I'm telling you, every time we have to improve. this video, if you have a look, you can see this is the new hardware implemented for the some of the babies cannot hear anything, and then you can see what they, or maybe for him here, you can see what happened.
It's like so close.
Or for his head.
Right over it. There you go. So now technically your device is on. Can you tell?
You see?
Oh, that's exciting.
What happened? She
Maybe just lay
cannot
down
hear
for a second.
anything, but the device,
See, it's
she
the
heard
sound.
it.
What does it sound like?
I wrote it for you,
Oh, you're meant to-
improving your life.
Can you hear me? Can you hear your voice? Is your voice sound pretty loud? No, not really. Well, that's good. But
Okay. So, the question is how we can manage of the design. And this is our job. Our job is assist the team. You are working in the team, in the industry or any company, internal and external. External talk with the customer, internal with your group. Clarify, prototypes of the customer needs, voice of the customer is important, house of quality is important. So these are my question in final exam. And clarify and prototype risk and achieving of the identify outcomes and something like that. This is the management of the some of the mistakes. You see? With some of the mistakes from your design. It is some design for the, we use it for flash memory. Yeah? You can see this is the Lexus, they use it, this, or the company they use it. This is the some of the cable they use it. It's not just about the design, it's just completely for mechanical, is combination of the different area of the engineering. Another things, as you can see, many years ago, when I went to the different country, octopus is not you, yeah? No. When I went to the many years ago in Hong Kong for teaching, I saw they use it the octopus, and the octopus they use it the car for go to the tram and tram, okay? And you put it the money there, and you can use it the car to drive, okay? And this was very good. If you go to the 7-Eleven any shop, they can buy it anything. So at that time, we don't have a MIT in Australia. And then every time if you go to travel, you have to pay and take a ticket, the paper ticket. So, as I said, this is the design also. After a while, design in from Hong Kong, every country they use it. Similar as Australia, we call it MIT. At the moment, we have a MIT in Australia. So I'm telling you, this is also design. This is the another design for the change of the fan speed. You see, from the old into the new. Also the design for the, what's that? Gardening. So I have a lot of video you can see about the related to the design. In the teamwork, I told my student, we need definitely team leader. If you are working in industry, don't say we are working as a team. Yes, it's correct. Definitely we need a team leader. Okay? We need maybe resource investigator. We need a monitor evaluator. We need an implementer. We need a team worker. Everybody cannot team leader. Some of them, they have to work it. So, tell me, if we have 100% achievement, comes from who? Comes from the team, yeah? Doesn't matter how much is for the team leader or for the worker. Is important or not? Huh? How much team leader, how much the worker? Is important or not? No. This is my experience, not from the book. I'm telling you, 100% achievement comes from the team. For customer, for manager, in company, industry, achievement is important. Not you say, I did it, and my workers or my team member didn't do anything. No. Doesn't matter, you are working 90% and others 10%. 98% you nothing from us. We need 100% from the team. So it's very important to achieve the team to do that. Okay. Another things, and during these 3 nights I am with you, and during this semester, we have to understanding the process of the design. Process of the design, for any design, for example, for iPhone or anything, definitely definition the problem. What's the problem? As I said, we have a phone from Nokia, it was 2 kilograms, it's not functional, a lot of key, a lot of button. So what's the problem? First problem, weight. It's very heavy, cannot move. We have to carry it with the back. So defining the problem is the first things, why we will need a design. The second is generating different concept. Okay, based on this problem, you have to say about, okay, we have a different concept and generated. We can consider these methods to answer to this. Evaluated the different concept, and we say about concept evaluation. If you remember, I told you for the baby milk, we have a different concept and generated this different concept. You remember 6 different concepts I show you? And then after we evaluated, we found it 3. Between 3, we found it 1. So I'm telling you, evaluated 1, and based on that, detailed design of that. Detailed. Then, if you are happy, or customer happy, or manager happy with this, we go to the second. It means based on the detailed design, we go to the prototyping. It means we try to have any devices or design or anything very small or something like that. We call it prototype. Prototype, then we test it, and if it works very well, we go to the production. Production means prototype you created and you make it 1, but production maybe we have 100,000. We call it mass production. If you back to the Ford company, Ford prototype 1 car and call it T car. After a while, try to production. How many? What do you think? One of them is made it. It was successful, and they use it the petrol and move it. After a while, he go to the production. He received money for 6. 1 year later, how many? What do you think? How many production?
100.
Around the 200. And now is around 500,000. But we have a lot of manufacturing. If we consider the number 1 is Toyota, if we don't have a Toyota or any company, definitely Ford can build it more than 2 million. 2 million. It started from prototype, then go to the mass production, and then support, because it's support we need it. If some part of them has a failure, we have to support. So based on that, as I said, we have to back and then get a feedback, and then again and again design process. So mainly my focus is about defining of the problem statement, and the problem statement is about comes from what is the statement of the requirements. What we need for requirements. We have 2 things. If you go to the industry, all the engineers, doesn't matter mechanical or electrical, they have to write it the PDS or SOR, definitely, or both. I worked with the company, they use it SOR, one company they use it PDS, and I visited the company, they use both in Germany. So what is that? PDS, it means production design specification. SOR, statement of requirements. And based on that, you have to say about how everything we need for the requirement for design. We call it SOR. SOR. Statement of requirements. This is PDS, as I found it from the one company. And you can see in the PDS, design specification, product design specification PDS, very simplified for you, and I bring for you. I put it here. So what does it mean? It is a PDS document. We have to write it the general overview of the PDS. What is the assumption, constraint, and standard they have to use it for any PDS. Doesn't matter which design do you like to use it. You have to say about the architecture design as a logical, hardware, software, security, communication, performance. As well as you have to say about the system design, about any related things for this system you use it, and product design specification approval. So once you use it, the PDS, so you have to, in your team, approve one by one, then you pass to the high level of the management, and the high level of the management, based on the PDS, and approve. So all of the statement of the requirements, if you remember I told you SOR, 3 things is important for the SOR. This is one of the questions in the final exam. SOR, you have to write it 3 things critical. About goal, what's the goal of the design or production? What's the constraint? Constraint 1, 2, 3, 4, and what is the objective? Okay? what is the related between objective and goal? Goal, it means one sentence, from here to here. Objective, it means this sentence divided to many tasks or objective. Objective 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One goal or aim divided to many objectives. And constraint, it means what's the problem or what's the goal. Constraint between this or this or this. It is a limitation. Okay? Look at this Kino model. This is one of the definitely question in the final exam. Kino model. Kino model very simplified for you, and then I show you the video. You understand very better. Kino is the scientist, works many years in industry and university. And he created, it's a Japanese. Kino, he created the model, and this is the model. He said, done very poor to done very well. This is one axis. And this is y axis. Disgust, very bad, not good, and delight. It is whole of the customer requirements. Where we are. If you done very basic needs, done very well, but instead not in the middle area, and you just try to basic needs from customer, the customer basics. If you design or customer requirements is linear between the done and satisfaction, is linear, they call it the performance needs. If they ask you to design, see, customer requirements or design, it go above of the as well done very well, and customer becomes very satisfied or happy, then we call it excitement needs. So three things he said. So look at this video. Definitely I will ask you one of the questions in the final exam of this. And you can see this is the website.
Discovering the Kano model, a critical first step to understanding your customers better than they understand themselves. Research has proven that the decisions customers make when buying products and services work at a conscious and subconscious level. What this means is, in order to be successful, we must understand our customers' needs much better than our customers can articulate them. The point here is simple. Customers are only able to give you part of the formula for success. So if this is true, how can we gather all the necessary requirements to consistently design winning products and services that deliver on value, quality, and innovation? Part of the answer lies in a model developed by Japan's professor Noriaki Kano. His model describes three distinct and unique types of customer needs that occur at a conscious and subconscious level. If we miss any of these, we'll likely end up with a lukewarm offering that's not very competitive or profitable.
The model starts with a set of axes where three types of requirements will be plotted. The vertical axis is a satisfaction level, from very satisfied on the top to very dissatisfied on the bottom, and neutral in the middle. The horizontal axis objectively describes how well each need has been executed or fulfilled. All the way to the right, the need has been very well executed. All the way to the left, executed very poorly or not at all. We'll give you a product and service example to illustrate the three categories of requirements. Let's start with a product example. Fuel economy on a car. So the first of three types of requirements are called performance requirements. Performance requirements can both satisfy and dissatisfy the customer, depending on how well they're executed. These requirements are at the top of your customer's minds and consciously evaluated when deciding which product or service to buy. Customers will typically speak easily about these needs when asked what's important. If the vehicle gets 12 miles per gallon, you'd likely be in the lower left of this model. 24 miles per gallon here, and 65 miles per gallon here. A service example, let's say, is check-in time at a hotel. If the hotel takes 10 minutes to check in, you'd likely be here. 3 minutes here, and 20 seconds up here. This is what the performance needs look like.
The second type of requirements are called basic requirements. Their presence doesn't directly add to satisfaction, but their absence will result in extreme dissatisfaction. These are the requirements that customers typically don't give much thought to or even talk about unless they are violated. They are the givens, items that are expected and taken for granted. A product example might be a car door's ability to miss a standard curb when parked next to it. If it hits the curb when opening the door, customers will obviously be quite upset. If the door easily clears the curb, the customers won't even notice and their satisfaction remains neutral. A service example might be providing the right temperature in a hotel's conference room. Too hot or too cold, the guests will likely be very uncomfortable and verbally complain. If the temperature is perfect, customers likely won't even notice. Their satisfaction will remain neutral.
The third and my favorite type of requirements are called the excitement requirements. Kano originally called these attractive or delighters. These are the innovations that differentiate you from the competition. Some people call these the wow factor, or USPs, unique selling propositions. They delight the customer when delivered, but don't cause any dissatisfaction when missing. They also play a critical role in the success of the most profitable products and services because they're often linked to emotions and unmet or latent needs. A product example of this might be a car that can't get dirty so it never needs to be washed. Or how about a cell phone that never needs to be charged? If either of these are missing in your next purchase, you'll be neutral. But if they are present, your satisfaction will likely soar. A service example might be a hospital that will order in a meal from a patient's favorite outside restaurant and deliver it to their room. Again, you won't be dissatisfied if you didn't get this service, but you'll be delighted if you receive it with very little or no extra charge. Excitement requirements delight the customer when they're present, but don't result in any dissatisfaction if they are absent.
Another important detail about the Kano model, especially excitement quality, is how the requirements can jump categories over time. History has proved that what is exciting today will be asked for tomorrow and expected the next day. In other words, excitement qualities will become performance and eventually basic. A few examples of this phenomenon are cameras and internet access in cell phones, power steering in a car, pay at the pump in a gas station, and free wireless internet in most coffee shops. All these were unique and great innovations at one point in time, but are common practice today and expected by the customers. The new learning point here is the need to continually prime the pump with new ideas and innovations, because those excitement qualities will differentiate your products and services for only a brief period of time before they're copied, circumvented, or adopted by all of your competitors.
Two additional but relatively rare requirement categories to mention in the Kano model are the indifferent and reverse requirements. Indifferent requirements are the features or needs that customers don't care about if they're present or absent. Reverse requirements, even rarer, are the features, needs, or attributes that decrease satisfaction when present and increase satisfaction when they're missing. Also, although we won't go into the details in this fundamentals video, there's also a method called the Kano survey that researchers can use to determine and graphically plot which of the 5 categories all of your product or service requirements fall into. Check out the KanoModel.com website for more details on this method.
To summarize, the Kano model helps teams better understand what the 3 main categories of customer requirements are and how they influence satisfaction, so you can prioritize your development efforts and find holes in your market research. So, half of the challenge is knowing what are Kano's 3 main categories of needs. We have that covered now. The other half that Kano never taught is how to effectively gather these 3 categories of requirements for your specific project. In the second part of this video, on KanoModel.com, you will discover industry best practices for how to effectively gather these 3 categories.
So I just try to summarize for you about the basic needs. So every semester I definitely ask a question from the Kano model. In basic needs, as you can see here, is the green, is unspoken voice, very disappointed if not implemented, natural response if fully implemented, typically associated with the constraint. It means just you follow, just you try to apply the constraint. So I give you the example. Consider we have a Nokia mobile and another company that's similar as this Nokia just built. What's the difference? It's the basic. The performance, it means a spoken voice, a linear relation between the satisfaction and implementation, associated with objectives, and you say about based on the objective, I just follow all the objectives and try to go to the achieve of the goal. And the excitement needs on a spoken voice, natural response if not implemented, very excited if fully implemented, as you can see. And the relationship is not the non-linear, it is non-linear with satisfaction associated with the objective. And this is very important. Definitely you have to write it for me, the green, the red. What does it mean? Can change to performance or basic needs over time. So what does it mean? It means iPhone created, as I said, iPhone 4 or 3. After 6 months, what happened? It comes from the excitement, go to the performance. After 6 months later, it comes to the basic. It is very, very a big achievement. iPhone created, but it was about the excitement. But after a while, over the time, go to the performance of the needs and then go to the basic. So I'm telling you, 1 year later, nobody likes to buy an iPhone 4. They like to buy a new version. So, and as I said, for the SOR, 3 critical aspects is important: goal, constraint, and objective. Goal, it means a brief statement of how we are going to satisfy the needs. You have to write it 1 sentence, 2 sentences, that's it. For the constraint, a set of the condition must be met. Constraint, it means the limitation you have to write it. Constraint may be hard, and you have to negotiation. No negotiation, sometimes you need to talk and soft, means negotiation level. Can be associated with the cost, size, safety issue, we can say the constraint. In your project, I put some constraints. And the constraint from the price, if you remember, the size, safety, or something like that. Okay. And the constraint can be conform to the relevant standard norm, conform the requirements. They can say not the standard, which standard, but have to clarify which standard we need. You have to, for example, fit with the size of the limitation, for example. You need to say about the cost of the lease, for example, $20, something like that. So we can call it the constraint for the SOR. And look at this picture. I show you the constraint for the some of the devices similar as this. As you can see, they write it a lot of document, and they call it Australian standards. So you can see here, based of the injection, they have to create this device, and then you write it a lot of standards, and you have to follow of that. So you can see I bring for you, and you can see how they can write it. And then for the pressure vessels, so you can see we have a standard, we have to follow it of that, and then we can approve it and measure it. So for the objective, as I said, constraint, as we said, we have to follow all the constraints we have, cost, standards, and safety issue or something like that. But the last things is objective, and objective of the criteria should be quantifiable expectations of the performance for the customer. Objective must be, you have to say about the size and measure or weight or anything we can clearly say about that. And speed, for example, for the vehicles, I don't know, or for any systems we need. I bring an example for the requirements, and this is the goal. For example, the goal, who writed the goal comes from the customer. Okay, customer writed the goal, maybe not very good words they use it, we have to rewrite it and say this is the goal. Goal means all the teams or team member, they have to achieve the goal. So for example, I bring an example for you. A goal is portable device. I don't know what does it mean, portable. It means we can carry, okay? For a professional which runs Windows 7, that is lightweight and fast. We need a portable design device. We don't know what's that. And Windows, we can run it fast and lightweight. What's that? Laptop. So the laptop, as you can see, I didn't write it laptop. Who wrote this? Customer. I need a device, professional device, running the Windows 7, small or lightweight and fast. It comes from customer. Okay. Then objective. Lightweight comes from here. High performance because it's fast. Low cost, it means you write it here definitely if you like to sell it. Cost is important. And high storage capacity. As you can see, the portable didn't write it here about the high storage capacity. Who wrote this? This is obvious, okay? This is obvious. Once you buy a device such as laptop, you need a storage for that. So you have to put it, okay, this is also objective of the goals, and constraint of these, running Windows 7. So another objectives, I show you the trees. Objective, you can create it and use it. And based on that, you can create the objective for we need a safe ladder, and safe and marketable. Two things is important as an objective for the safe ladder. We need a safe ladder. This is objective. This is the goal. So what is the objective? Safe as well as marketable. Marketable, it means selling. Safe, definitely safe is important because someone goes and use it the safe ladder, they have to use it. So we divided the safe to the stable and safe. We divided the safe ladder to the marketable, and you see expensive or not expensive, portable or durable or something like that. So I divided with the different, as you can see, in the sub-objectives. This is the objectives, and the objectives defined with the sub-objectives. So therefore, it's very important to clarify all of the objectives and sub-objectives. Objective and sub-objectives comes from you as a team. Goal comes from customer. Maybe write it very well or little or something, but you have to transfer or translation to objectives. And you can see this is the objective trees as we show. In objective 3, if you look at to the right side, is very specific, and engineers know about that. If you go to the right side, it's very bold. It is manager, customer, they talk about this side. So we divided between the right side and left side, and you just we have to identify about objective and sub-objective to clarify all the objectives. It means not just write it one objective and finish, or two objectives finish. As you can see, 2 objectives we have, and then each of them is divided to many sub-objectives. As some of the sub-objectives, it becomes more specific. And 10 minutes break later, and then the next topics is about the research. Okay, I started another presentation, and then during that we can have a break. Okay. Any questions so far? So far we understand we need a we understand customer what they need, how we can design, and one of the definitely question is about the Kano model. Is that correct? So, if you remember in the previous presentation, I told you about the generic model for design process, Kano model of the customer satisfaction. SOR, it means a statement of the requirements is goal, and based on the goal we have to find it what's the constraints and the objective of the goal. And about that, if you remember, this is the generic model. If you remember again, we started with define of the problem. Based on the problem we have to find it many different concepts and generated. Between the generating of the concept, we evaluate all of them or some of them, and we found it one of them is best. Then based of the one of them, we have to write the details. In the Kano model, I'm sure you understand very well because it's you watch the video for that. The statement of the requirements, goal, constraint, and objective we discussed, and the research is this. This is the new topic, problem statement, propose a solution or hypothesis, methodology based on this, data collection. Based on the data collection, we have a lot of data. Which one we use it? Data interpretation between them, and the conclusion. Based on the conclusion, we back to the problem statement. So, week 2, or maybe slide number 2, is about the design, defining the design problem, overview industrial design revolution, and identify customer needs. This is the whole of the topic. I like everybody understand about this industrial design revolution. Doesn't matter your company, you like to work for that or not. Definitely we have to go to the Industry 4, Industry 4.0. It comes from 4.1, 2, 3. We are here and we have to go there. So what was the first revolution in industry design? It is the back to the if you remember and you read it carefully, the books, and it was about comes from the steam power and water power around 400 years ago, and they use it the mechanism for to just use it the steam power. Means water just heat it up and then becomes a steam, and then based of the steam they moved of the tram or something like that. So this is, we call it the first because this is the first generation of industry. We individually they try to have a production. But if you remember, I talked with the mass production for Ford Company. Ford Company, they prototype of the car, and after a while, 6 order, and then after a while, you understand they have to need a lot of car. So Ford understand and brings a new idea. Okay, I cannot with this machine just with one car. So it's better just try to have a mass production. And the mass of the production is just some part here, some pass to the other layout, go to the layout, other layout, and then implement it and fix it and complete the car. And they call it mass production assembly line, such as electricity or car. They call it generation number 2. And around 40 years ago until now, we go to using the computer and automation, and we call it the Industry 3. And the next generation, it is the cyber physical system. We call it Industry 4.0. And this is about the integration of the data, automation, manufacturing technology together. So I'd like to show you this video, and you understand we need to have a Industry 4.0. I bring this, I don't know why it doesn't, we cannot hear it, but I bring it from Singapore. As you can see, they are working for Industry 4.0. And you can see here some of the company, WSG, they try to understanding whole of the idea about the Industry 4.0, combine together, add it together, and use it for the different manufacturing. If you try and work very well, I'm sure you can get a job there. And this is WSG, is very good company around the world actually. So this is they are talking about how they can design a manufacturing based on the Industry 4.0. So no, I think we cannot run it now. So generally, very quick, I like to tell you, not specifically. In Industry 4.0 or Industry 4, they call it, 6 components or principles are there. It is interoperability, and it means available ability to any device, sensors work based on the internet. We call it Internet of Things, and Internet of People, IoT. Visualization is very important, as you can see from different area of the industry. They have a visualized of the smart factory, and they work based on the sensor data. Decentralization, it means it's not just working with the one company and every time in the one center, decentralized around the world, different city, different location. And real-time capability, it is the one of the principal idea from the Industry 4.0. It means real-time, it can connect it and analyze of the data. System orientation is important, offering the service via the internet service, and modularity, it means flexible adoption of the smart factory to change requirements by replacing or expanding individual modules. It means if you understand that your design needs very quickly adaptation or adding, this system can do it. Don't change it all of the system again. So it means adaptation is very important for Industry 4.0. Autonomous vehicle, if it's possible, I can run it for you. Have a look also about the autonomous
We don't
vehicle.
know exactly when we're going to be able to buy autonomous cars, but we do know the opportunity is coming soon. The idea first appeared in the 1930s in a monthly sci-fi magazine called Air Wonder Stories, but it wasn't until the 1980s when Carnegie Mellon University's Nav Lab created the first self-sufficient and truly autonomous car. Bryce and I actually got to ride in one of Nav Lab's later public bus models in 1997, and trust me, having your bus driver stand up and walk to the back of the bus while you're tearing down the highway at 55 miles per hour is a surreal experience. Since those years, autonomous vehicles have come a long way, especially in the last 10 years. In 2008, the autonomous movement's biggest achievement came when a self-driving Volkswagen Passat was able to recognize a stop sign and apply the brakes on its own. 2 years later, in 2010, Google had built an entire fleet of autonomous cars and clocked a total of 140,000 miles on Californian roads, driving alongside other cars and pedestrians and obeying not just stop signs, but all traffic signals, including traffic lights. By 2012, that same fleet had covered 300,000 miles without a single accident. Google and VW aren't the only ones with their sights set on the self-driving market. Mercedes-Benz began testing autonomous driving in the 80s when NavLab was around, and recently revealed their luxury F015 concept model, equipped with internet-connected displays that can be controlled via eye tracking and hand gestures. Last year, a BMW drove itself down the Autobahn, Audi sent an autonomous vehicle up Pikes Peak, and at the Tokyo Auto Show in November, Toyota unveiled its Prius Avos, which which is an acronym for Automatic Vehicle Operation System, which can be summoned by the rider remotely. Now, despite some legal, safety, and privacy obstacles standing in the way of companies bringing self-driving cars to market today, unknown questions like, can the system perform in a blizzard, or who is going to be legally responsible if the autonomous vehicle hits a pedestrian it didn't recognize? Automotive CEOs still think the autonomous car is inevitable as the technology advances. Google has said it wants its cars in the hands of consumers by 2017, and Tesla's Elon Musk wants passengers to, quote, get in, go to sleep, and wake up at your destination by 2019. By 2020, GM, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Nissan, BMW, and Renault all expect to have at least semi-autonomous vehicles available for purchase. Jaguar is expected to release one in 2024, and Ford plans to enter the market by 2025. If these predictions hold true, the world is going to be in a much different place by the time 2030 is here. 1.2 million people die in auto-related accidents every year in the world. In the US, 40% of the deaths involve alcohol. Now, computers don't get drunk or mess with their cell phones or get distracted, so expect auto-related deaths to approach zero as more autonomous cars hit the road. Not only is it going to be safe, but it's going to be fast. The average American spends 52 minutes commuting to work today, but not for long. Say bye-bye to stoplights and traffic signals and say hello to high speeds. The autonomous car of the future will be able to plot a direct course and communicate with the other cars on the road so that as many as possible can fit and keep the flow moving as quickly as possible. Autonomous cars are going to be accessible to the disabled, elderly, and young, which raises an interesting question. If the autonomous car is no longer a car, but a computer, then do we need to regulate it as much as we do with the cars today? Will you need a license to ride in one? I doubt it. Our environment is definitely going to thank us. More efficient driving means less energy is burned into our atmosphere, which means less carbon dioxide, which means cleaner lungs, healthier humans, and a longer lifespan for our planet. In disaster relief situations, hurricanes, fires, tsunamis, an army of autonomous vehicles could be ready for rescue missions. Finally, people are going to be happier. Stressful hour-long commutes shackle human joy. It is going to be nice to get rid of them. Thanks for watching. You can click on the screen to watch our rundown of the 10 fastest.
So back to the design. If you remember, I told you this is the future design. It means every time you design, it should be considered what's the future, not just the current. You have to thinking about the future, what we need for future as well. Otherwise, you can say, okay, you can see other company from China, from India, or from, I don't know, Japan, they make it something design, and you design the same. So what's your novelty? What's your contribution? So definitely you have to consider about the future as well. Back to the identify the customer needs. If you remember, we discussed about defining the problem statement. In the problem statement, I listed for you about what is the identification customer needs. Some of the questions you have to ask, how can I sell it more? If you design anything, this is very important, how can I sell it more than is possible? Who are my customers? This is very important about who are the current user and who is the potential new customer for user. You have to identify all of them. What is the customer wants? You have to divide it to the goal, constraint, objective, and how can I provide these customer wants? Okay, if you understand all of them, you answer to this question, okay, then finally come to here, how can I provide the customer wants? How can I do it? So, to answer to these, I bring some of the customer identification. This is another question in final exam. Okay? You are customer or I am customer, okay? How can I understand what I want? How? You have to come and observation, yeah? Or maybe interview with customer. Or focus group. You see? Focus to some of the groups. Or customer survey. Or warranty data. Or register complaints. So this is very, very important to understand customer needs identification. Yeah, it means you talk with customer or try to find it what customer needs. You have to identify. If you go to the observation, it's very high cost. Why? Because you have to talk with customer, and high detail. What do you want? You have to write it very detailed. And if you go to the complaint or warranty in low, you can low cost because you get some data and you load the details there and you can try to understand. First, observation. In observation, it means direct or indirect observation. It means we call it a fly on the wall. Okay? This is the words for that. Fly on the wall. Indirect is best. Observation is normal use. Have more than one observer, useful for identifying anticipated needs and other behavior. Take a note once you go and talk with the customer, and photographs, video, and gain satisfaction, and we call it get some image or lower image to identify individuals. So, I give you the example for observation. 20 years ago, I think you don't remember, all of you are very young. The company in South Korea sell it the small car, and they call it Matiz. Did you hear it about Matiz? Very small car. Sell it around 2 million of them. So later on, other company, they try to use it this, but they lost the market. What happened? South Korea. Hyundai sent it a lot of team members in the European country, not in South or Asia or America. They sent them to the European country. For example, me, you. For what? To observation. To prepare and bring a new car in the market. They have interviews with the ladies. What was the problem? The problem is most of the lady in European country, as you can see, 800 million, they located very small area. Australia is bigger than the European country. In European, I'm talking about all of the countries. How many people? 30 million. How about Europe? It's more than 8 million. So what does it mean? We don't have enough space for the parking. So the biggest challenge for the ladies and the women is about the parking. And every time they like to go pick up the children, go to the school, drop them, look around, buy something, and then go back to home. The biggest challenge is about the big car they have at that time. Parking is big issue. Driving is big issue for the women. And they don't need it a very large car. All of them, they write it as an observer. They write it the which color, which size, how many seats do you need, something like that. Okay. A lot of them. This is observation, and based on that, these observation passed to the Hyundai, and they prepared Matiz. Very small car, useful for European country, for ladies, and they use it for the buy very small things for the home every day, and they drop the children and pick up from the school. It comes from the observation. They have a form. What do you want? What color? What size? And something. So this is one of the methods to understand what customer needs or identify it. Another method is interview. In interview, you prove of the problem area, and you contact with them. What do you like? What do you dislike? And then you improve it of that. And based on the interview, you get all of the customer they need, and they will call it voice of the customer. Another method to understand, identify the customers they want is focus group, manageable of the group of the customer, and then you bring many customer get together, group 1, 2, 3, and they found it what they want, and then record the response to the customer on boards. Another methods we can use the customer needs identification is register complaints. These days is very simple. They use it the email, phone, and then you can get some ideas and basic ideas, and then fund it after. The last method, or one of the method and best method actually this day they use, is the survey. Based on the survey suggests that this is the last step. You found it of them any information, you put it information in the, as I said, this day, mail, phone, or face-to-face, Zoom, Teams, or something, and you found it about the limitation they have in the survey. So in the survey, I write it for you. Different things we can consider is about to keep your question short. Nobody likes to read it a lot of question, 2-3 sentences for that. Avoid jargon. Avoid leading a question, leading the question. Use a like, third scale, yes or no, and use a complete, clear, and brief sentence. So I bring for you the similar as this survey. This survey, they use it for the company who built a CD, compact disc, they call it CD. And they bring, as you can see, is very good for CD, is brings many questions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it means high importance, 5, and low importance is 1. These questions, and is you can ask them or you can survey from the customer, and customer just say 5, 4, 3, 2, something like that. Just very quickly can do it, because customer doesn't like to match time to answer to this question. And then you put it the many question of them. So you can see this survey can fill it very quickly from the customers. And later, based on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as an importance and answer to each of the questions, then you ask to fill it some sentence or words, and also ask about the yes or no. I'm telling you about the combination of these. You can use it for the survey. So if you look at this survey, after that I analyze it, and then we can see about the 86 surveyed, and then we have a different question number 1 and to 14. Number of response for the question number 1 is 70, number 2 is 38. As you can see, is around number 4 and 5, 17 answer, and number 5, 17, it is very low. Others better, but number 1 is very, very important, and most of them answer. So after the answer comes here, it just pass to the bar chart. It means question number 1 to 14, and we see 80% of the people, their response, we can convert it to the Pareto plot. It means which based of the biggest go to the smallest, we can call it a Pareto. And we found it, okay, this is number 1 is very important, 80% answer. Then question number 4, more than 50%. And you can see number 12 is roughly around the 40% they answer. So what we have to understand from this survey, you understand, okay, the question number 1, which means here, a more crack resistance case is important for them, and then compared to other questions. It is very, very important to understand, okay, customer, what they want. So you have to create a many question, not just what do you want. Maybe customer doesn't know about it. So I'm telling you, based on this survey, you understand of that, and then based on this, the company try to answer of this. Back again to the word of the warning from the Steve Jobs. He said, it is really hard to design products by a focus of the group. A lot of times people means customer, don't know what they want until, similar as iPhone. They don't know about that until you show it to them. You show the iPhone and they understand of that. So customer needs identification, it means the constraints and basic requirements, objectives, and also some of the resource I listed here. You can see about the different website. It helps you to understand all that. So we talk about the defining of the problem statement, and next it is identify research needs. Any question? Do you have any question? We have around a 10 minutes break, and then we can back, and after that we finish. The next topic is number 5,